Hey there, fellas. I'm down in my basement. A little warning ahead of time if you hear me start like slurring my words. I just got all 4 wisdom teeth pulled this morning, about 10 hours ago. So I'm on some pretty heavy pain meds right now. But I haven't put anything about this online, so on YouTube. So I figured I'd show you what I got down here in my basement. This is my noise making area. This is also, as you can see, this is also where I do all my gun painting stuff, and this is where I keep all my camping gear, Kelty Red Cloud, Marmot Never Summer down, 0 degree down bag, all my equipment, well, mine and Dan's equipment. But what I'm down here to show are our bows. We both shoot, that lighting is horrible, I'll just pick them up one at a time. We both shoot bear archery. I've been shooting I've been shooting bows since I was about 4 years old. I've had this bow this one's mine, and this black one over here is Dan's. See if I could do something better with the light. I'll just go over them. I'll go over Dan's first. Alright. Yeah, this should work. There we go. Alright, so what we have here is a bear. This is Bear Archery Empire. This is a solo cam bow. This is one of Bear's flagships for, I think it was a 2013 flagship model. This bow is in the shadow finish, so it's all black riser and limbs with this really cool black and orange string and cable set. This one is running the roller guards along with all the rest of their flagships pretty much. This does have dual string suppressors. It is an incredibly quiet bow. This is pretty much just the stuff that comes on like the ready to hunt packages from Bear Archery. Wrist sling and stabilizer. Not really any reason to have anything more than that. This one is also outfitted with limb savers on either limb, which makes quite a difference. Shooting a what is that called? A True Glow Versapeep, I think is what it's named. I do all my own serving, so I do Dan's too. D-loop. This is a Trophy Ridge sight. Can never remember what the name of this one is. They are illuminated. They're fiber optic along with pretty much every other bow sight, but they are illuminated also, so if you don't have enough light, you don't really need it. You could just turn your sights on. Quite an awesome feature. It is a 5-pin sight, fiber optic. You see the fiber optics running around this entire housing here. If you'll focus. The fiber optics running through that whole housing. It does have a bubble level inside of it, so you can make sure your bow is level so you get real consistent shots. IBO on this bow is, I think, 330 feet a second. Dan shoots some pretty heavy arrows, so he's got a ton of kinetic energy, so it doesn't shoot anywhere near that IBO speed, but for the weight of the arrows, it's impressive. This is a see if I can get that in there. Ultra Rest HDX. I can never remember the name. That's it. QAD. Ultra Rest X. This is a drop away. That's what the string here for. It's going to this dropping cable. So you put your arrow in here and you knock it in that D loop, and then you set it like so. This will be easier to see from the front. So you have the D loop back there, and arrow naturally sets in here. You draw your bow. That string going to the cable sets this the rest of the way, and then as soon as you release it, it drops away. And it stays completely flat. It does not bounce up, back up, touch your fletching or anything. Very, very nice rest. A little bit on the expensive side for me, but it's really nice either way. And as you can see, it's full enclosed. This bar up on the top here keeps your arrow from moving around. You can tip the bow all over the place and it's not going to drop its arrow. And it's sighted in out to 60 yards, same as mine. 10-yard increments from 20 to 60. One other thing that a lot of people don't have on their bows that him and I both have is some sort of light source. This is going to be hard to see because it's a black light, black mount on a black bow. You'll see mine a little bit better. This is a Surefire G2X Pro, so it's the 2-mode version. And you'll see the color on the front of here is not normal. What you would see on the G2X Pro. This light has let me see if I could get this open. It's not even possible with one hand. There you go. That's what the filter open. It's a red filter, so there's the normal bezel. There we go. That makes it easier to see. And then this filter just snaps down over the top of the bezel. That is a lumen killer, but as far as being able to shoot at night, it's incredible. It knocks it down to like 60 lumens or something from 200. It's pretty impressive. There's your low, and you see, you just soft tap it and it'll cycle through the 2 modes. That shows up a lot brighter on camera than it actually is, but then you just hard click it and it stays on. We run lights on our bows specifically for small game, rabbits namely. Being able to shoot rabbit, being able to guess your yardage and hit a rabbit at 40 yards or so is really the best practice you could possibly have. But this one is set at a 29, it's either 28.5 or a 29-inch draw length. So it's a pretty decent length, so you're going to get some speed out of that, but the heavy arrows just kind of knock the speed down and give you a ton of kinetic energy. So like back in Florida, this would be a pretty ideal bow for shooting pigs, being able to make it through their shield with the arrow setup that he's using. We both shoot deer crossing archery arrows. I'm not really interested in shooting pigs with mine, so I don't shoot anywhere near the kinetic energy. I shoot like 190 foot-pounds, whereas Dan's bow is shooting like, I think it's like 240 or 220 foot-pounds. And this one's my bow. You see, his is black, mine's green, or camo rather. I have green and black string. It's a little too dark in here to be able to tell, but this string is green and black. A green and black weave, or twist rather. They're very similar risers, as you'll probably be able to tell. They're very, very similar. He's got that big opening up here, whereas mine's a little more skeletonized. Biggest difference between these two is he shoots a solo cam, and I shoot a binary. This bow, my bow, is the method, bear archery method, go away. And its rated IBO is 340 feet a second. With my arrow and 30-inch draw length, I'm shooting right at around 310 feet a second. And it was like, I think it was 190 or 200 foot-pounds of energy, something like that. I may have these numbers mixed up. Like I said, I'm Specifically I'm on Vicodin right now, and I've never taken anything like that, so it's hitting me pretty hard. Our light setups are pretty similar. I've had this G2X on my SBR for years. I just took it off my rifle and mounted a pick rail. This is the tactical model, so it's momentary only, unless you twist it, and then you have constant on. This one's 200 lumens. I think the Pro is like 210 or 220, something like that. It's real similar. The biggest differences, though, between these two bows, and we both shoot Versa Peeps, TrueGlow Versa Peep. There's my D-ring, D-loop. Same exact wrist sling and stabilizer. Like I said, the biggest differences between these two, outside of the string and cam system, I mean, I use a slider. I don't have a roller guard. But my sight and my rest are the two biggest differences. My sight and rest are both Trophy Ridge. His sight's Trophy Ridge, and his rest is Q80. They're both drop-away rests, but my sight is one of the coolest sights I've ever seen for a bow. You see it's kind of big. It kind of looks like it would get in your way. It doesn't, but this is the one with their smart pin tech. So you zero your 20 pin. This is a good reference. Look how close together those pins are. That's 20 to 60 yards. Whereas how far apart these pins are, that's 20 to 60 yards. So I'm shooting considerably faster. My arrows just don't hit quite as hard. But you zero your 20-yard pin, which is that top one there. Once you get that really perfect at 20 yards, then you move out to one of the subsequent pins in 10-yard increments. Any of them will work, 30, 40, 50, or 60. And then you zero that pin, and you just turn this knob up here on the top, and all the rest of the pins will move accordingly. And then once you're done with that second pin, all of them are sighted in, which works. It's incredible. Being able to shoot 20 yards, sight in my pin, and then move back to 40, sight in my 40-yard pin, which is the red one in the middle, and then move straight back to 60 and just stack arrows up. That's pretty awesome. That's really awesome. You see, I also have a bubble level, and my sight also is illuminated. The other thing is this rest. This is a Trophy Ridge rest. I got it for a really good price. That's why I took this one. Also, I plan on shooting a little bit larger vane setup than I've been shooting, which I shoot blazer vanes currently. And this offers the biggest opening, the most clearance for your arrow. It's still a drop away. You see, it doesn't make sense for anyone right now on how it's arranged. But you set your arrow down on this little foam thing right here. It just won't focus. That little foam thing on the top of the riser right here, that shelf. Set your arrow down on it, knock it, and then you just rotate the rest, and it grabs on top of this, if you can even see that that's in a U shape, and then underneath this back one. And it's a full containment rest. The arrow just simply will not come out of it until you shoot. But same sort of deal. Once you draw this string right here that's attached to the cable, will tighten up. It will set tension on my arrow and then rotate out of the way as soon as you fire. So I get incredible groups. I shoot maybe like at 60 yards, I shoot maybe a 2-inch group very consistently. Like I said, that's a 30-inch draw. Shooting, my arrows were, what were they? It was a drastic difference. I think I was shooting like 300 grain arrows, good round number, don't take that to heart. And his were like 410. So that's a big difference in arrow weight. So that's going to be a really big difference in arrow speed, because that one's only rated for 330 and this one's 340 in the first place. And my draw length is considerably longer. I shoot a full inch longer draw length. And it's maxed out at 31 inches and I shoot it at 30. So like I said, the lights are for small game, specifically rabbits. That's all I've ever tried to hunt with it, using the light. I mean, I keep the light on there just so I know where it is, but I mean, it's not on there most of the time because I don't really shoot rabbits anymore because it's snowing outside. It's been a pretty nice winter day today, snowing all day long, real nice and light, real quiet. So I've just been relaxing all day since I got my teeth pulled. But those are the two bows that we shoot. Oh, one other thing that you might be interested in is the release that we shoot. We both shoot the same release. They're just different variations of the same release. Where'd mine go? I grabbed my wrong one. Alright, this is them. These are both of our releases that are the same but different. You see the shape of the trigger, that's the difference. This is Dan's release. His trigger kind of swoops back really far, whereas mine is 90 degrees. Mine comes straight out the side of the release. These releases are incredible. I cannot remember what they're called. Hold on, I think that's the right box. It's not that one. Where'd it go? Oh, stupid, I should remember that. These are the True Fire Hardcore. They're both black, they're the same color. The trigger itself is the only difference. This hook here hooks onto your D-loop. And you see it's very rigid, it doesn't move, there's no play. Once you draw back and have pressure, then once you touch the trigger, it rotates and cams out and releases the string like that. And it's on a spring, so it resets itself. So that's my release. You can see that trigger. And that's Dan's release. You see the trigger swoops back. That's the only difference. Otherwise, they're both True Fire Hardcores. But that's pretty much it. Both of these bows are incredible. I actually got mine for an incredible price. I got mine. It didn't have this rest or this sight, but it has everything else, or the light rather. It had everything else, including, I did also change the peep. It did have one of the tube kind of peeps, the ones with the rubber tube on them to straighten themselves out. So the sight, the light, the rest, and the peep I changed. It also came with a quiver, and I got it for 200 bucks, and that, you should look up like Cabela's price for Bear Method ready to hunt package. You'll see how good of a deal that is. The Empire, on the other hand, is a more expensive bow in the first place because it's the flagship. It's got the roller guard, and Dan got that for $600, I believe, maybe a little less than that, $550, something like that. But either way, haven't really put any information on archery out there, so those are the two bows. I mean, I shoot recurves. I have 4 recurves and a longbow also, but they just don't get used since I've had this one. This is my 3rd compound, and it's better than every other compound I've ever touched. So that's it. See ya.